Good evening, everybody. This is the Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. We are here at Frederick School. I need a call to order and a roll call, please.
Weedman?
Here.
Mack?
Here.
Albert? Here. LaCroix?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
And Nash? Here.
Okay, it gives us a quorum. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need an approval for tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Miller?
Aye.
Mack?
Aye.
Albert?
Aye.
Weedman?
Aye.
LaCroix?
Aye.
And Nash?
Aye.
Okay, next is public comments. Do we have anybody signed up for public comments? If you could please state your name when you...
Liz Wixer, and I'm a parent in D46. I just had one thing, which was actually to Leslie. I had a parent comment to me that she really appreciated that you could now click and sort by school on that calendar that's on the main page. So that was all.
Thank you. My microphone's acting up here. Let's see. Next is board reports. Anybody have anything to report out? Jessica?
I have a few things. So first, bearing in mind the Equity Action Plan strand, the fifth strand, Family and Community as Agency, I just wanted to point out that at the Grays Lake Library, February 23rd, 7 p.m., there's a presentation by the LGBTQ plus Center of Lake County. A CEC update, Community Engagement Committee update. Many participated and finished the crucial conversations, professional development, and a few participants have expressed gratitude for the opportunity to add this to their skill sets. We have the upcoming Community Cafe next Tuesday, February 21st. There's a food drive, March 11th through 12th. And at the meeting last night, the CEC discussed and shared book fair strategies. Christy Braden and I attended the Lake Division Legislative Breakfast Saturday, February 11th. And it was really good to hear that a few of the legislators there are former educators themselves. I think Christy's brought that up before. And they can see the disconnect between theory and application. They mentioned a few laws or bills that they're really thinking about that that require that experience of the past and knowing, will this actually be able to be implemented? They talked about budget prioritization and the need to revisit old laws, like the TIF law from 1999. And then my last announcement for the board report is that Foundation 46 has their Barn Fest September 30th, so mark your calendars. And a new grant session has just opened up for teachers, so spread the word so that they know to apply. Thank you.
Say September 30th?
Yes.
Okay, Jason? Steve?
I do not have anything tonight.
Christy? Tamika?
I had a couple of things that I wanted to highlight this evening. So one, I had the opportunity to listen into the D46 Inspires podcast, the most recent one, where two students from Avon, Mackenzie Peterson and Brian Casimir
were being interviewed by Miss O'Brien. So they are fourth graders over at Avon, and they just oozed excitement, passion, and joy about their teacher, Miss Burton. And so if Miss Burton is tuning in this evening, I want to let her know I want to join her fourth grade class because it sounds amazing. And the focus was around imagination, innovation, and inspiration. And, you know, when I think about our pillars, around our mission and vision pillars here in District 46 of empowering learners, creating equity, cultivating community, that the podcast, that, you know, that segment just kind of embodied everything that we're trying to do here. So just wanted to give a kudos to Miss O'Brien and the students, the fourth graders over at Avon, as well as Miss Burton. And if I can just, you know, fan out the gray hairs, you know, if she'll have me in her fourth grade class, I'd love to be there. And I wanted to just give a public shout out to Mr. Wolk. So I know here in the district, we've been having a lot of conversation around just the need to identify and attract diverse talent here in our community. And so coming out of the Triple I conference, I attended a workshop and was able to share some observations and learnings right away with Mr. Wolk, or Dr. Wolk. And he was very open to, you know, looking into those things and following up. And as a result, I think Mr. Wolk has identified some partnerships where our district can kind of be a part of a consortium of other districts that are top of mind for students in college and looking for, you know, teaching assignments and things like that to kind of funnel some talent up here to the North Shore. So I just want to say, Mr. Wolk, I appreciate your due diligence and continuing to kind of press forward with this important work. All right. Let me go into equity. All right. And then on Monday, the Equity and Engagement Committee had an opportunity to meet. And so, as always, just a very engaging and thoughtful session. As always, we do a pulse check in terms of just checking in with our norms and just making sure we're in a good place. We've had some community members express interest in joining the Equity and Inclusion Committee, which is very exciting. So we're currently just looking at the attributes and capabilities of those community members to determine, you know, where it makes sense to bring on new members. And then also making sure that we have a sustainable practice going forward as to how we want to kind of open and close committee membership openings as they come up. We spent a good amount of time just trying to read the community in terms of the equity or the EAP plan that was so well presented and represented by the DELT during our last board meeting, just to get a sense for how our community is feeling and responding to the information. I think we walked away with the sentiments of no news is good news. So we're very proud of the work, and we're going to continue to, you know, look as a committee as to how we can provide insight or recommendations up through the DELT, right? I think that's one of the things that we want to be able to do is understanding. We talk a lot about the balcony and the dance floor, and so recognizing that we can leverage our Equity and Inclusion Committee to really help to influence the decisions that we make here within the district. And then I think the last thing that was very important or takeaway for me was just the work that we plan to do around creating definitions. So we know that, you know, when I say equity or someone says equality or inclusion, right, different people have different understandings. So we want to make sure we're very clear and we're level setting with our community members as well as within the district. Is when we say this, we mean that, right? So we're all speaking the same language. We all are coming from a good place of understanding, and it also mitigates the risk of confusion and misalignment as we are promoting initiatives moving forward. Did I miss anything, Dr. Glickman, Ms. Gluck? All right, thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
Certainly. Well, I think as everyone knows by now, if you've gotten your little phone buzz, we are going to be in e-learning tomorrow, so let's just talk about that for a little bit. Lots of decisions to be made and lots of people talking about those decisions. Tomorrow's our first e-learning day, and I say first, that sounds a little crazy because we had, you know, months and months and months and months of similar learning. But this is the first time that we are doing this in lieu of having a snow day or another kind of emergency day. And so I just wanted to talk for a moment about the thought that goes into those decisions. First of all, of course, we have to decide if we are having in-school, you know, students on site or if we're not. And we make those decisions really carefully. We're thinking about the safety of our families, our students, our staff coming in. At the time of the decision making, and still, although I haven't looked at the weather in the last 15 minutes since the board meeting started, it appears that the snowstorm will be significant enough and at the right times to make travel difficult. And so that's how we decided that we're not going to be in school tomorrow, not going to be on site. Then there's the timing of making a decision. Quite a few school districts right around here made this decision at the same time that we did. So we kind of all announced around the same time. Admittedly, there are other school districts that are waiting until the morning to decide. I am not going to propose that either decision is right. We made our decision based on wanting to give families as much time as possible to prepare for what tomorrow looks like for them and their families, and to let our teaching staff and all of our staff know that ahead of time as well. But there will be plenty of school districts that will make announcements tomorrow, and it could be that when they have more information about the weather, their decision might end up being different than what our decision was. So can't promise that the call will have been the perfect call. It's the call, the best call we can make when we decide that we're making the call. And then new this year is, okay, if we're not bringing people on site, is it a traditional snow day, a traditional emergency day, or are we going to do e-learning? We chose e-learning this time. I do want to note that there's plenty of reason to think that there'll be plenty of time for fun tomorrow. So if we end up with a beautiful snow that is ready for snow person making, there should be time sometime during the day for that, even if it's at the end of the day and we're not transporting kids home. But, you know, it won't necessarily be the same level of instruction that we get all year long. And so we think that there will be some relaxed time as well tomorrow. One of the decisions, or one of the things we had to think about is, when do we want to hold school? And by that I mean, if we were to have a snow day tomorrow instead of an e-learning day, we have to tack a day on to the end of the school year. And it can be hard to hold kids' attention then. So that's one of the things that went into our thinking. So we're going to try this time, and we'll see how it goes. E-learning tomorrow. And I guess I want to give a shout out and a thanks ahead of time to our operations and maintenance staff, because while everybody else will be at home, that staff will be on site, keeping everything safe here in the school district. So thank you in advance to the O&M team that will be working on site while everyone else is working from home. Moving forward, or actually backwards, because this is something that happened a little while ago, on February 4th, some students from GMS and Park participated in the Illinois Grade School Solo and Ensemble contest, and 78 students between those two schools took home medals. So we're really, really proud of our musicians. Those are vocalists as well as instrumentals, so good for them. I'm going to and good for their teachers, right? Because the teachers brought that out. I'm going to hand it over to Amy to talk about the late start last week and the half-day in-service that we have coming up this week.
Thanks. Good evening. So we did have a late start last week on February 8th. On that day, our staff met in person in job-alike teams And so what that is based on their content. They focused on curriculum work, assessment work, and really moving forward with what instruction is going to look like within their content areas. So continued that curriculum work that they are doing on a regular basis. And then in addition to that, our PSRP received training from the information specialists on site in their buildings on how to use the BenQ panels. So I know they were very appreciative of that, so that they have that same level of expertise that our staff within the classrooms have. So all around a great day. And then coming up on Friday during our half-day in-service, staff will be working in their buildings to engage in the analysis of our NWA map data that we just finished. And so what they will be looking at is they will be looking at student growth since the fall, and developing action plans based on that student growth. So some of that might be where some areas that we need to have an area of focus, or also where some celebrations that we have. And so I know that our buildings are ready to be having some really great conversations on Friday. And they're going to ultimately walk away with some action plans that they're going to implement between now and the next time we take MAP in May.
Thank you. I'm going to build on a comment that was made through public comment about our new website. I want to share with the board that we have certainly been getting some very nice comments about our new website. Very exciting. It's beautiful. Thank you very much, Adam, for making that happen. So if you didn't see it, you might want to take a look on the way out. It says different things on both sides. And finally, so we have cabinet every Wednesday morning, which is all of the administrators that you see sitting here at that meeting. And we always do a share out of things that are going on. And our cabinet had a surprise today from Heather Lorenzo. Now, I'm going to share with you that Heather is not necessarily always our quietest member. I'm going to say that with great affection. But usually if she has something going on, like, we might know about it. She kept this under wraps, that yesterday she defended her dissertation, and you're looking at Dr. Heather Lorenzo. So we're so proud of you, so excited. We were all surprised because she didn't tell us. I mean, we all knew she was working on it and it was coming, but we didn't know the date, and neither did her family. So she kept it under wraps. So we're really excited for you. Congratulations, Dr. Lorenzo. So we have, and I think we talked about recently somebody accidentally called her that. So now we just got to get used to calling her that. And that's the end of the superintendent's report today.
And we missed the cake.
I know, no cake. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations. So next, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the addendum to the personnel report that was sent just a little while ago.
So moved.
Second.
Nash,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Miller,
Abstain.
Mack,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. Okay, next we'll be moving on to action items. First, action item is I need a motion to approve the proposed 2023-24 school calendar waiving legal holidays as required under Public Act 096-0640, which is Veterans Day, President Lincoln's birthday, Casimir Pulaski's birthday, and all in order to hold school. This is we do this annually. So I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions or discussions? No? Okay.
Weedman,
Yes?
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Albert.
Aye.
Okay, next we have a motion to approve the contract to award, motion to approve the contract award for referendum consultants beyond your base. This is for consulting work for future referendum for District 46.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Do we have any questions, comments?
I do have some questions, and I recognize, Chris, that there might be an email in my inbox that I haven't gotten to yet, so I might just be asking you to read the email. I have three questions. I think I did read that one of them is they haven't gotten back to us about how we're gonna, so to back up, some of the correspondence we've had with the Beyond Your Base, they said, I asked them how they're gonna target households that are not voters. Are we only targeting voters, or are we targeting everyone? And he said that he has an idea and he's working on it, but hasn't gotten back to us. Is that correct? To reach all households without increasing postage.
He's researching it and he has not got back to us with a full answer. Correct.
But he's got a plan for
Yes, he
that?
did. He said he has a plan. Yes.
Okay.
He'll get back to us with a full research plan.
Okay. And then reaching out to non-voters, we represent them too, and I know New Trier and Winnetka have expanded their mailing lists. Are we poised to do that too, or no, so that we are reaching people who may not be voting?
I think that'll be a part of the conversation, but I also believe that was part of, what we talked about was there's a wide variety of ways to get out to people, including mailers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll be mailing, are we poised to mail to people who are not voters, or do we know?
So that'll be some of the work that we have to do with him. Do you want to add anything into that?
But at this point,
I mean, as of today, are we able to do that? Is that the question?
that might not be a reasonable question.
Yeah,
Because we haven't done this before.
correct.
For a while, so never
Correct.
mind. Okay.
Correct.
And then my third question is the fee is higher than we anticipated, and I'm wondering what impact that's going to have on our budget, specifically on when we cross the fund balance threshold. Or is it absorbed somewhere else?
I did respond to you, but I can read it again. It's okay. I stated that the budget's only started this week, so I don't have a number for you about, hey, that number pushes in deficit for next year or it's a surplus. But I can tell you that we did budget the 85,000 is in this year's budget. So as much as possible, we can pay for it this year. It was budgeted, but it might go into fiscal year 24. The other two costs that you mentioned are a hybrid pole, which he estimates is $21,000. And he also stated that we work with Marcia Sutter, who is $150 per hour, who will help facilitate the community engagement, and he estimates $10,000 for that. Additional to the 85, correct. The reason why it wasn't included in this is because you are approving this contract, and they will be supplementary post-contract. I don't have a contract from Marcy, and I don't have a contract from those services. If you wish to see them, we can get them and bring them to you. But in his recommendation moving forward with his services, he is saying, in my professional opinion, you do go with these, because I've been successful with these in other districts.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, this was originally going to be 75,000 and now we're talking 100,000. Is that correct? So if we decide to do the hybrid poll and the.
In his recommendation to CCSD 46, he stated that he recommends doing a hybrid poll and hiring Marcia Sutter for $150 per hour, with a estimate of $10,000.
Any other questions? Okay. Vote.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
Okay. Next is we need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding for art and music show preparation.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Woke, can you explain about that one?
Sure. Through ongoing conversations with GFT, we've learned of all the background work that goes into the K-4 art and music shows. It's not just stapling things to the wall. There's a lot of extra work that goes into this, and our art and music teachers are preparing this well into the evenings. You've all attended them, and I know when I was attending them, fantastic events. I remember being at Woodview and like 3D things coming out of the walls. It was actually a lot of texture on the walls, where they spent a lot of their own time creating things to supplement some of the student work. So through our discussions, we created this memorandum of up to 20 hours at our $22 an hour activity rate.
So this is just an activity that wasn't contemplated at the time of the contract, and so we're adding it through this MOU.
That is correct.
In terms of, I just want to add in terms of music performances, there are stipends available for, excuse me, upper grade instrumental teachers and vocal teachers to do after school and evening concerts, but that wasn't available for the elementary music teachers, so that was kind of all a part of the same conversation.
Any other questions? Okay.
Albert,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. Okay, the next is the motion to approve the following board policies. There's a long list of them. Most of these board policies were a 5-year review or legal updates. Were there a couple that we had language, or did we just, those were all sent back, right? There was none that were language, right?
There were some that you talked about at the last policy meeting, not today's. So if you want, we can do a quick little review of those. Just a moment. Here we go. So, well, actually, most of the ones that we talked about that required change really ended up not on this list. Come to
Right,
think
'cause
of
we
it, they're
sent
for the
them
next
back.
one.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, these
So
are
Most of these
small tweaks,
Yep.
or just reviews.
Does anybody have any questions on those? Nope, okay.
I need a motion and a
I'll make the
second.
motion.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Sue's on top of things, keeping us on track.
Mack,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
Okay, we are up to unfinished business. First is a discussion of more board policies that we had our policy committee earlier, which we've also sent a few of them back for more policy review. A lot of these also are a 5-year review. We did discuss the committees. We're adding finance committee as a standing committee under 2:150. The district diversity policy will be brought up at a later date for a full discussion in front of the whole board. Resource conservation, we added the word in there for land to make sure that we including all our lands that we own. Audio and video recording we discussed. It was one that we discussed in a little bit in depth. It was regarding the ability of people to do audio and video recording of IAPs, EAPs, I had it right first.
IEPs.
Okay.
You got it.
So we added language into that policy. The 6:260 complaints about curriculum, instruction materials, and programs is being sent back for some more legal advice, along with 8:10 that'll also be sent back. And then the rest of them, we added sesame seeds to the 7:285 anaphylaxis prevention, response, and management program. Other than that, the rest of them were all legal changes and 5-year reviews. Did I cover I covered it all, right?
Yeah, the only other one that I think we want to mention is the community policy. What is the name of that?
Connections with the community.
Connections with the community.
That we're sending back to.
Correct.
Yep.
We are. No, that's not, no, not that one.
No, I thought
No.
those were all the one, 2:266.
No, not that one.
260.
No,
Okay.
no. This is, thank you, 810? Thank you, 810, which, when we had reviewed it a couple of years ago, did not include a section on community engagement, and we're now adding back in the section about community engagement. Yep, correct? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I think that's the only other one.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or anything on those? We should have more information on the ones that we're sending back for legal information. So. Okay. Next, we have the community cafe discussion.
So just a reminder, again, it's February 21st, which is on Tuesday, and the only thing I wanted to discuss was just kind of an FYI that because more than 2 of us will be at that cafe, and maybe all of us, I'm not sure, we need to be in compliance with OMA. And so that I would just be thoughtful that we're maybe not sitting together, but also we will call the meeting to order, say the pledge. So it would be great. Just expect an email with clarification on how we're going to do that. It'll just be real quick. And I think Mr. Mack, you will be, or Dr. Mack, you'll be leading us through that.
I think once you make it a public meeting like you have, you're not in violation of any OMA if
Yeah.
the 3 of you sitting together. There's no, it's
Okay,
an
so we
open
can sit
meeting.
together? Okay,
Yep.
it's an
You
open
It's a
might not
meeting.
want people sitting together.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well,
so
we all might want to spread
since,
apart, but
since
Yes.
we're taking minutes and we've made it open to public and
And we're posting it.
posting an agenda, there's no OMA
okay.
concern
Yeah.
anymore if the 3 or 4, whoever show up is talking, because it's all about business.
Sounds good. So does that mean, Sue, can we just submit the visual note taker minutes is
Oh,
what I'm
for
thinking. How are we
minutes?
gonna do minutes? So the last time we did this at Meadowview, we took minutes and we did not, Sue was not required to be there, so we could just do that again and then submit the minutes that way.
Mhm.
If that works. Did it work for you last time? Okay.
I can
And,
take the minutes during the evening too, if you want me to.
okay, let's touch
I
on, I
mean,
think
we
it's just gonna
can,
be
but I-
tricky, because everyone's, so, yeah, that sounds good. And there'll be all the visual notes, there'll be a lot of things we can
Mhm.
use for minutes. And then, that's it. That's all I have for the cafe.
Okay.
Unless, Jess, you have something else?
We're on to new business. None. Topics for future agenda items.
All right. Well, as Christie's already commented about, we will have a special board meeting next Tuesday, which is the community cafe, so that will be posted. That brings us to March 1st, and as I shared with Jim and Stephen today, we have remarkably little for that meeting. In fact, at the moment, the only thing we have for that meeting are policy approvals, the approvals of the few policies that we, the policies that we discussed today that need to come back, right? So we could do those on March 1st, but that's the only thing that we have. Now, I note that as per today's policy committee meeting, there are a few policies that we need to discuss as a board. But that can all be wrapped into the March 15th meeting. So this is a long way of saying, board, if you want to cancel March 1st, we can. Why don't I share with you what we have for March 15th? And maybe that'll help decide. I will say March 15th may be more robust. We have a couple of presentations. Adam is going to come with a composting presentation in terms of where we are as a district with that. I don't think it'll be very long, probably, but a few slides. And Adam will also be giving us a little update about the plans for summer maintenance work. Dr. Woke will talk about staffing. Then we thought we would do a little board goals update. So that's an update of our maps that we created and let you know where we are on those. Now that can happen in April instead, but we're planning to do it on March 15th. And we are also going to be bringing a recommendation for a new Frederick School assistant principal. And then, again, there could be policy conversation, right? We could be talking about policies that were discussed tonight, and we could approve those along with the other policies that we have to return to. So that would be on the 15th. I said a lot of things, but most of them weren't very long things. So want to know what you want to do, board, about March 1st.
I'm okay with canceling March 1st.
I'm fine with canceling it.
Okay.
Feels like we've had years of marathon meetings over the pandemic. We deserve a break.
I think so too. You do deserve a break.
Nicely put.
All right, yeah, okay, meeting will be canceled on the 1st. Okay, and then, yeah, I'm not going into April at this time, so that's it for the 15th.
I only have one thing. We all got an email regarding our meeting dates, asking us to consider moving our meeting dates so that they don't conflict with the Park District. Which, when I look at other boards, we're not the only ones that have conflicts with the other boards in town. So if that is a discussion we want to have or decide, when I looked at the Park District, they only have it once a month versus our 2. So technically, I think it would be easier for them to move one day versus us moving 2 a month. But if that's a discussion we want to have, we can add that into the agenda. It was brought up, so I figured we could move, at least have a discussion about it.
Sure.
So, yep. Anything else?
So, do you want that added to maybe like an April discussion?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good.
Anybody else have anything else they want? Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
So one of the action steps that I thought we might consider after I is developing a policy review calendar and wanted to know if we could have a discussion about that. It doesn't, we could do it March or April. There's no rush to it, but wondered if that would serve the rest of you.
Sure, we can put
Just
that
a-
on, probably in April.
Okay. Can we have a conversation at some point, just so I know a little bit more about what to,
Absolutely.
how to structure and?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Okay. We are back up to public comments. Did we have anybody sign up for the second one? Nope. Okay. We do have a need for a closed session tonight. So can I get a motion to go into closed session, please?
Will
So
we be
moved.
coming out with anything afterwards?
No, we won't be coming out with any action afterwards. I'll make that motion.
Second.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Albert,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for coming.